Welcome back, this is David. Here we are in my coffee stain studio yet again. Since the embarrassing face reveal video that I did last week, we are now stuck with this format. I've opened up a whole black hole of death, and I apologize for that, but there's really no going back now. So if we can just hold on to the side of the boat, and this feeling of shock and awe of this horrible spectacle will maybe subside over the next few weeks or so. But for right now, it's best we just... There's like a helicopter flying over and a police car. That's crazy. The whole building is vibrating. I can't stand this. This is a lot of fun. I love it. So anyway, with that, let's just dive right into this batch of stains. If we can tune out the... I thought I heard a gunshot. I live in a very safe place. Let's just dive right in before we die here.
This one, right off the bat, looks kind of like maybe it's like a sweater or something. If you flip it around, it sort of reminds me of maybe it's a astronaut doing the splits or something. Maybe he's on Mars. You know, he's got a good spread on here. But on the top here, it's that time I drove over my neighbor's cats. They were in a bag, so I just, assumed they were dead. I mean, the bag was, kind of destroyed and everything, so I just poured everything into a nearby pizza box and drove off. Got the F out of there. And we need a big helmet, of course, because Mars has no oxygen. Yeah, science fiction's definitely my favorite genre. So right here, this one looks kind of like a piece of hair maybe, or something. Maybe it's like a caveman's hair. Reminds me of the Flintstones a little bit, so let's just make it a Flintstone, just like that general Hanna-Barbera face. Got the little outfit down here, and maybe he's painting a picture over here. Maybe it's a nice portrait of a vegan. Yeah, that's probably pretty accurate. Before you come after me in the comments, do you want historical accuracy or political correctness? Because you can't have both. What are you, insane? So this one right here kind of looks like a white McDonald's parking lot bird. I think that's the way David Attenborough described it. A seagull, that's right, a seagull. The birds that remind you that there's bodies of water still left on this earth. So I heard that they actually make a pretty good meal if you turn the oven up really high at first, and kind of crisp the outside, and if you stuff it with an actual Subway, I mean not the sandwich, I mean like an actual Subway train, if you shove the entire thing inside the seagull, or try to at least, you can really get a lot of subtle flavors. So when you're eating, just start with the bird and then slowly enjoy the subtle flavors of the train, bunch of burning metal and, electricity and 377 people trying to get to work. You could probably break it up into like 4 sections and then freeze like 3 of them, just for the week. Just thinking ahead. So this one right here, this one kind of looks like a French beret. I remember some kid told me that if you pull the little thingy on the top, a bunch of mayonnaise comes out, and I think I've said that before. So I went ahead and tried it, and all that came out was the Pope. So I kept pulling it, but it was Pope Leo. So I kept pulling it, and the owner of the hat and the Pope were yelling at me to stop, saying that there's no mayonnaise. Like, what is wrong with you? And the Pope kept saying, like, there's actually no such thing as mayonnaise. It's just me moving really quickly. So there's like a motion blur. There's no such thing as mayonnaise at all. So I got really confused. I'm like, what have I been putting on all these sandwiches? And Pope Leo just looked right at me and said, it was me. So speaking of childhood, this one kind of looks like a little class project we had one time. We were trying origami, I think. And we all had to do our own individual ones, but this kid really went over the top. He created a whole scene where he had this lawnmower and he drove over a bunch of paper. Like, he didn't make it out of paper, he actually just came into class with an actual lawnmower and ran over a stack of paper. Actually, I think I'm remembering it wrong. I think he drove over a stack of pizzas, and then it was like really messy. There was like sauce everywhere, box pieces, and there's a lot of screaming. Actually, no, you know what? I think I can't remember what he drove over, but yeah, that was the last time any school allowed lawnmowers. The 90s were absolutely insane. So this one right here kind of looks like a super pretentious banana. So pretentious that he's even wearing a turtleneck. I think it's extra pretentious on a banana for some reason. It's so pretentious that a slightly less pretentious version of himself that decided to wear a suit and not a turtleneck that day grew out the side of his face. I mean, this is the greatest example of quantum physics. You know, the different versions of yourself. I think the only purpose this actually serves is a temporary shade for the sleeping goose. Didn't Heisenberg write a paper on this? So this one right here looks like the most beautiful librarian in the world. Just overflowing with beauty. You know, but they don't make a lot of money like they used to. So they need to take other jobs. You know, like a wine stopper or a milk stopper, or like this one is moonlighting as a sausage stopper. I mean, those are really your only options these days.
Yeah, so that's it for this week. If you want to send in your coffee stains, go right ahead. Just message me on Instagram and then we can set it up. I prefer it on watercolor paper, so it's just easier to draw on, and just 1 or 2 stains on each piece of paper. I prefer coffee, just black. Nothing in it, or it creates a stick. So just black coffee on it. So yeah, I think the new upload date is going to be Monday. So just tune in every single Monday, and I shall be here on YouTube every Monday to start the week off. So with that, thanks very much for watching, and I shall see you in a week.